Hello folks, my name is McLean Patrick. I am co-founder of Wordsmiths of Kuching, a spoken word community based in Kuching, Sarawak. I'm also co-producer for this segment where we have our members perform pieces entitled Thoughts from My Bedroom, a collection of poetry written during the MCO. We are very privileged to be part of Berani Bersama, an initiative by MERCY Malaysia to collect monetary funds for the MERCY Malaysia COVID-19 Pandemic Fund. I hope you guys enjoy the performances and contribute to the fund.
Jinghan asks, what are these? By these she means romantic feelings, to which I answer, I don't know. It's all a dumpster fire, a collection of discarded bygone things down an alley that Batman's parents could have been killed in, haphazardly stuffed in a giant metal container, recycled generation after generation, collecting unique rust and garbage juice from each tenant's baggage, set on fire. And a fire is a magnificent and warm thing regardless of its kindling, and I am a moth regardless of my reincarnations. Jinghan asks, what are these? By these she means romantic feelings, to which I answer, I don't know. It's all a dumpster fire, exhaling dark smoke all across the neighborhood. Can you smell the stench? Did you think that it would turn into this dumpster fire? Maybe someone lit a sparkler all pretty and harmless and threw it out the window, and it landed in this collection of hastily tossed, repressed bruises in the guise of cardboard boxes labeled "My parents' shit," or mean things I say to myself, or a dead body, or a magician's box that says, this is the shared property of two dumpsters, and set it on fire. And a fire is a natural thing regardless of its kindling, and my ancestors harnessed it to make meals of cold, bloody things and homes of cold, dingy caves. Jinghan asks, what are these? By these she means romantic feelings, to which I answer, I don't know. It's all a dumpster fire. That means, by serendipity, if you are lucky, if you should know romantic feelings, two dumpsters are now on fire. Two sparklers, two cigarette butts, two Molotov cocktails later. If you are lucky, if you should know shared romantic feelings, if the fire burns hot enough, you will send your paper inheritance back to your ancestors. Does that mean you should walk around with lighters and matches? I don't know. Are you ready for the stench, the smoke? How badly do you want the meal, the home, to set your backstory on fire?
She must have been shy once, I thought, as she tugged her headscarf a bit tighter around her head. Battered and worn out, its color must have been outrageously bright long ago. But now, it was just faded gray. I haven't eaten today. Spare some change, she asks. I looked at her bare feet, dirty and rough. She hadn't worn shoes for quite some time, I thought, as she tugs her scarf tighter. She must have been shy once, when her headscarf was outrageously bright red or pink or purple, when her feet had shoes or at least a pair of sandals. But as she reminded me for the third time, she was poor and hungry, and shame does not fill her belly. She cannot afford to be shy. Yet I could not meet her half-hidden eyes, as if I was holding enough shame for the both of us. She must have been shy once, I thought, but now she's just hungry.
I am your beacon in the night. On days when you are at the bottom of a dark abyss. When the voices get louder and louder, your lips mumble wordlessly. While you fight your demons believing the lies they said, and the stories and vices, they just crowd your head. You are a void filled with over-convoluted thoughts, a knotted ball of tangled strings. But I'll help you unravel these intricate schemes. I'll help you get out of this labyrinth. I'm here. Just take my hand. I'll pull you out if you can help me understand your fears and sadness. Because I'll be your reality. I'll be your solitary lighthouse on an island of birds that sings your favorite songs when I was little. Before the wreckage, when the waves came crashing in, and I was too young to know what those voices in your head meant when you hammered the glass table into smithereens. That part of the deep sea is still a mystery to many. Let's scatter the ashes of your insecurity. After the turmoil is calm and you're done falling apart, there is no shame, no blame. I still love you the same.
I want to see that brief future, no matter how bright or bleak. I always wanted to see that brief future, for I can never imagine how that may be. For most of my life, I have been set to one goal, laser focused and determined to reach, only to fail when my humanity stepped in, to which I threw it away to become a machine. Even as a machine, I still fail, for the inhumanity scares the man, and forever they shun the machine, never letting me see that brief future. Thus, I stopped being a machine, not fully, just enough to regain my humanity. One needs both machine and man to make it whole. Alas, what it is to be shunned, for man cannot see. Thus, I want to see that brief future, no matter how bright or bleak, For to meet my goal is one, before my end is another. To be with others is different, as to journey alone makes no difference. What will the future hold for the machine? What will the future hold for the man? How will they both cope when each competes? To compromise they must, to see that be future indeed.
My dad and I used to play this game of make-believe. We conjure up the last blockbuster we saw on VHS or CD, and this one time, we reran the plot of Armageddon, a big stupid rock headed to our precious pearl of a planet, one last mission to save the Earth and return home a worthy hero to its inhabitants. But that's not all. See, we had to add in a touch of alien, think xenomorph and hungry instead of green, and sapient. We were scientists on the spaceship. We were the last ones left alive. We were fighting and engineering this virus to kill them and survive. And so, through various plot contrivances, pseudoscience, artistic licenses, through liberal application of plot armor, we deus ex machina our way to the finish line, ready to go home in that loading bay, injured and tired, but triumphant. And that was when my dad told me he'd jettisoned every escape pod. See, it was too much of a risk, he said. We can't let even a single one of them follow us back. He told me sometimes the hero doesn't win, sometimes they just do what they can, and granted, he wasn't the best storyteller, he wasn't the most creative person, but he knew that for a little boy like me, all these play-acted narratives are more than just a boy's fantasies. He told me that day that sometimes life doesn't work out the way you want it to, and sometimes you have to make the best of a bad decision, and that life's not like in the movies, not like in the video games, not like in the stories of old, and that's okay. I sulked and told him we should have made it back. We should have been heroes. We were owed our reward for winning, but he smiled a boyish grin, that spark of joy, a glimmer in his eyes, and said the one thing that pisses off every kid. Someday, you'll understand. Well, I hate to admit it. I'm still trying. Trying to keep that spirit, though boys will be boys got spoiled and twisted in those days. It was only a dad and his son who had a bit too much energy and never enough fun, running ragged through dirt and rain and loving every made-up adventure we'd venture forth on, with giant robots, dragon's breath, laser beams and magic spells, superheroes, starships, ancient things from fairy tales, sailing onto unseen shores, climbing cliffs yet unexplored, and touring Mayan ziggurats and pyramids on dinosaurs. And those were the days. Those stories are what stay with me. Those memories are like cavalry in dire times of need, and one day too, I plan to piss off my own kid with the lessons learned from the worst kind of plot twist. But until then, Dad, I'll keep safe the precious memories and thoughts, your message in a bottle, in every escape pod.
The lady behind the counter scans and scans and scans, thin lips behind her blue face mask. The computer goes beep, Maggie beep, rice beep, eggs. The lady has memorized this familiar transaction, but none of the threat in the air. The lady keeps scanning. She does not look forward. The weather is too nice today to be so worried of the hours ticking by. Time heals weary travelers who travel along its grains, but not this time. This time, every fleeting moment is a prayer answered or a prayer called. Every drive is purposeful, but every drive is also too long. Like there's an impending wreck waiting to cradle me in its arms, but I am also trying to sit with the truth that it is a blessing to be calm in this calamity. And I hold it so steep. I hold it knowing that I have a backyard full of plants and a pantry full of food and a city that is now rendered half asleep by the lullaby of scanners and revving food delivery motorcycles. I hold it knowing that for some it is a time for rest, but for others a restless time. I don't pace around my room as much anymore. I am as steady as this city needs me to be. I think about all the people out there and I hope they are okay. I think about all the people who have built a chapel out of Facebook walls with their prayers and I hope they are okay too. Tomorrow, the weather will be different, but the lady will still be scanning, and the roads will still stretch for miles, and this city will still be half asleep as we hold our breaths and wash our hands to the beat of our trembling hearts. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive.
You just heard a collection of spoken word poetry written by poets in Kuching during Malaysia's Movement Control Order. Hello, I'm Georgette Tan, a co-producer of Thoughts from My Bedroom. I run the Kuching Poetry Writing Month for Wordsmiths of Kuching. For 30 days through April, we challenge ourselves to write a new poem every single day. And because we are writing through a major event in world history, well, it shows in the couple of hundred of poems that we produced last month. We are honored to share some of these fresh words with you through Berani Bersama tonight. Berani Bersama is a community effort to help raise awareness and funds for MERCY Malaysia's COVID-19 Pandemic Fund. The MCO changed everything we know about how we connect as human beings. And while thoughts from my bedroom are indeed thoughts from the safety of our bedrooms, spare a thought for those who are still actively fighting the pandemic for all of us. Your contributions through Berani Bersama will fund MERCY Malaysia's efforts on the front line. Link to the donation page on LaunchGood is in the description. To those of you on the front lines, thank you. To everyone else, keep your distance and wash your hands.